What is up, guys? Scarp80 here, and today I'm bringing you guys a Nintendo Switch video. And in today's video we are going to be discussing if the Pro Controller is worth it, especially when you're on a budget. So let's get started. Alright, so what I mean by on a budget is there's some people that can afford to buy a Pro Controller, and it doesn't really matter, and $70 isn't really that much to them. But for some people, including myself, $70 can be a lot, and it can be a very tough decision to decide if you want to get the Pro Controller or not. Because the Pro Controller is $70, and that's $10 more than what a regular, good, awesome game would cost. So for example, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is $60, and the Pro Controller is $70. But if you get the Pro Controller and you don't have a good game like Breath of the Wild, then the Pro Controller is basically useless. So that's something to keep in mind. So basically, if it's either the Pro Controller or a game like, especially one of the main good games like Splatoon, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart. Well, Mario Kart, if you have the Wii U, and you don't really play Mario Kart that much, like with your friends and stuff, then maybe Mario Kart isn't worth it, and maybe you would rather to get the Pro Controller. But ARMS, for example, those are all games that I think I would get instead of the Pro Controller. However, if you already have those games or already have the money for those games, the Pro Controller can be a very good addition to those games, and it can allow you to better enjoy those games because, the Pro Controller is pretty great. It's comfortable, especially if you play games in docked mode a lot for lots of hours. The Pro Controller is pretty good. Also, if you are a person that likes to play with your family or with some friends, then the Pro Controller can also be a good option instead of Joy-Cons to play multiplayer, like with your friends in the same room, right? Because if you get another pair of Joy-Cons, well, first of all, you already have Joy-Cons. And yeah, you do have, for example, for 1-2 Switch, another pair of Joy-Cons would be great. But if you don't really play games like that, if you like playing more like Mario Kart or ARMS and stuff like that, the Pro Controller is a good way to go because it also allows for you to play multiplayer. However, if you do get another pair of Joy-Cons, it does allow for 4 people. That's not really a very comfortable way to play with just the one Joy-Con for each person. But if you have the Pro Controller plus a set of Joy-Cons, then that's maximum 3 people can play, or 2 people can play very comfortably. Now, taking a look at the Pro Controller price point, it's $70, as I have mentioned before. And most controllers, especially, for example, I'm taking a look at the Xbox One controller, especially when, these consoles are new and they come out and stuff, they are normally priced at like $50, let's say. That's like an average of, because you can get it, for example, Amazon's going to be a bit cheaper than Best Buy sometimes and stuff like that. So let's just say $50, right? Or $60 in some cases. I've gotten some for $60 and stuff. But there's one main thing that is going to save you some money about this Pro Controller. However, it does or may not affect everyone, but it's the batteries. So if you have an Xbox One controller or a few, they use batteries, AA batteries, and you have to replace batteries, and that money can add up. However, lots of people, or lots of kids, I guess you could say, don't pay for batteries themselves. So that maybe doesn't, apply to them. But if you do, then batteries do, add up. So the Pro Controller is rechargeable, and it even comes with a USB-C cable. So that's something to keep in mind. That's something that is good and helps out the price. Now, as far as comfort goes, the Pro Controller feels incredible. It's not exactly how I expected it to be, but it's definitely not worse than I expected. Maybe a bit better than I expected. And I really do like it. I think Nintendo paid a lot of attention to how they made this, and it looks incredible. But it's also very comfortable. It's my favorite feeling controller, in comparison to like Xbox and PlayStation or whatever. I like the feel of this controller, and it looks better. But that's just my taste. Also, there is going to be a Splatoon 2 themed Pro Controller. So if you like Splatoon, and it's going to be pink and green with black. So, you know, that's a cool one. But yeah, it feels great, looks great, and the buttons are great. It's very comfortable, so for long hours of gameplay, this is going to be something that is going to make your life a lot more comfortable. And also, if you have like big hands, or if you're like an adult and the Joy-Cons are just too small for you and the grip is too, then the Pro Controller is the way to go. Alright, final question. Should you buy the Pro Controller? Well, it really depends. If you already have enough money for the games that you want to buy, and I would recommend stuff like Mario Odyssey, Splatoon, ARMS, or Breath of the Wild, including the DLC, because the DLC for Breath of the Wild is awesome. If you already have that money, or know you can get that money, and you can buy the Pro Controller, then go for it, because, yeah, I mean, it's great. Pro Controller or another set of Joy-Cons. Another set of Joy-Cons are $20 more, plus, you already have a set of Joy-Cons, so unless they're broken and you can't fix them, maybe Joy-Cons, but if not, then Pro Controller, definitely. And, if you have to decide between the Pro Controller and a game, then I guess that's just up to you. What do you think will give you the most fun? What do you think will, you know, be a better way to spend your money? And, yeah, I mean, it also depends what game and what you like. So, for example, if, to me, it were, like, Pokken Tournament or Pro Controller, I would say Pro Controller, because Pokken Tournament is already on the Wii U, first of all. Second of all, it's not like a new game, it's a deluxe version, so there's not really that much new things added to the game. And second of all, I don't really like the game that much, like as much as ARMS or Breath of the Wild or Mario Kart even. So I would say Pro Controller, but if it's something like ARMS or Pro Controller, Splatoon or Pro Controller, I would go for ARMS or Splatoon, because, you know, those things are just going to give you more fun, in my opinion. But yeah, tell me if you guys agree in the comment section down below. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you would please. And that's it. Once again, Scarp80 out. Peace.